Newburyport is a special place. After living here for a number of years, I've come to appreciate the challenging and interesting views around every corner, whether we're on the boardwalk or in the front of a church or walking down a lane or looking out at the harbor. All of this has come to mean so much to me, and over the last few years I have attempted to express some of those areas of Newburyport and the wonderful views that we have in watercolor. A good example of a very special place in Newburyport is March's Hill. During the winter snow sledding season, I happened upon this scene in February 2017 when the neighborhood children had set up their hot chocolate stand at the top of the stairs on the side of High Street. You'll see behind them the winter fun that I tried to depict, period. It's just a wonderful place for a community in the South End, in fact, the whole city. Also in the wintertime, we love to cross-country ski at Maudsley Park. You'll see here a lot of activity, a lot of different types of skiing, snow shoeing, young people, old people. It's a very special place. In fact, it's special all seasons because so many people cross-country run there, hike there, walk there. And now we have many people remembering playing ice hockey at the Bartlett Mall. It's sort of a rite of passage growing up. Doesn't have to be ice hockey, it can be just plain old ice skating. It's just great, wholesome fun for the whole family. The longer one lives in Newburyport, you just can't help but fall in love with the history of the city. This next view of ice skating at the Mall really happened in the 19th century. You'll notice a man roasting chestnuts on the edge of the ice. Such a great time, I'm sure, to be alive in Newburyport. And sometimes when I go through Market Square, I think what it must have been like during the 18th and 19th centuries when there were horses, cobblestones, and wagons. And that's when I decided to do this watercolor. And as I was in Market Square, I moved up the street and noticed the Fowles sign. The sign is perhaps one of the most iconic images in downtown Newburyport. This watercolor was really a result of my fascination with that sign and my memories of going in there and sitting at the soda fountain counter as a young boy. And as I was looking across Market Square, I've always loved the entrance to Inn Street with the Brass Lion shop on the right. Heading away from the square and down Liberty Street, one comes to Abraham's Bagels. A tragic fire closed that business a couple of years ago. However, as I'm writing this video in July 2017, Abraham's Bagels is scheduled to open again. Everyone's excited. It's a simple ritual for many families to go to Everyone's Bagels and pick up breakfast for the family. Heading out over to the boardwalk from Market Square, one notices the new Harbor Master building looking east. I remember when it was just finished, 2016. I was so taken with this view on a wet morning walk on the boardwalk that I painted this watercolor. Turning and looking westerly at the end of the embayment area on the boardwalk, I noticed the little boat Coastie juxtaposed against the much larger Captain's Lady 3 and was struck by the small versus large, the colors, the tones that occur late in the day on the edge of the river. This watercolor is my interpretation. Continuing westerly on the river's edge, we have a late evening sketch of the Black Cow restaurant. And actually, this is followed by an early morning sketch of activity people moving in and about the embayment area. Next, you'll see a watercolor of the early morning with joggers and walkers moving through the boatyards. And that's followed by a late day watercolor of Michael's Harborside from the water. And up along at the boatyards where the clipper ships were built, Currier and Jackman yards, up by the Ashland Street and Jefferson Street, there are still modern day tall ships stored before the season starts. And every summer, it seems, the wonderful Custom House Maritime Museum sponsors tall ships in Newburyport, and they make a great subject for painting. Here are a few recent watercolors of our tall ships. And heading back into Market Square, here's a watercolor of the beloved restaurant that left, Not Your Average Joe's. And heading back into Inn Street, there's a playground called the Inn Street Playground that is just a very used playground and a wonderful scene and atmosphere most mornings. Heading over to Middle Street, you'll see the venerable Grog Restaurant. And if you were heading out to Plum Island along Water Street, you'll see Joppa Park, looking towards the boat ramp and the iconic yellow house that juts out into the river. I painted this view in the early morning. As you head out to Plum Island Point, the westerly tip, there's a wonderful beach area and party boat activity that happens there late in the day. Traveling east down Northern Boulevard on Plum Island, you come to the center of the island, and there's the impressive cottage on the ridge. Against the morning sun, the cottages take on a wonderful shape against the sky. And then we head back into town. For me, there's no more special place in Newburyport, with its water views, beach scenes, and activity to work in this town has been such a joy for me. I hope you've enjoyed the short little watercolor trip. I can be contacted by email at richardburkejones@gmail.com or through my website at richardburkejones.com. All the best and enjoy.